Hey, this is Mike. This is Ego and Vice Podcast. Welcome to the return of the Spotlight Series.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South Bay, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Red. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago. Hell, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westman Tavern's where I learned to walk away.
So what is the Ego and Vice Spotlight Series? Well, I'm glad you asked. In the history of Ego and Vice, I've always had a one-on-one conversation with a guest that's in a band, a guest that is involved in local business, maybe in the arts. And they tell their story. With the Spotlight Series, simply I try to focus the episode on the whole band. Like, where did this band come from? What are you doing now? Where are you going? That kind of thing. So I did a couple of Spotlight episodes early on in the Ego and Vice catalog, back in season 1, I think. I had Hearts and Minds on, full band. I had Voice of Addiction from Chicago, Nihil Osiris from New York City. And it was fun, but I kind of abandoned it a bit and went back to the single guest. But I've gotten a lot of requests to have full bands on, and a lot of requests from the bands themselves wanting to be on. So I figure I'll use the Spotlight Series as kind of a special occasion here and there. And it'll be fun. And it's different for me too, right? It's a little bit more work with the editing, but hey, it's a labor of love, as I always say. Anyway, let's get to the episode. Today on the Ego and Vice Podcast Spotlight Series, I'm very proud to have an awesome new Ottawa band. I'm going to play a tune, then we're going to come back, and then you, the good listener, will be introduced to the Escape Society.
And is it all for naught? Even if we've all forgot. And is it really all the same if you're the one to blame? Is it all for naught? Well, I don't wanna fight, but it seems to pass the time with you. Well, I don't wanna fight. No, I don't wanna. Is it all for naught? Even if we've all forgot. And is it really all the same if you're the one to blame? And is it all for naught? Well, I don't wanna fight, but it seems to pass the time with you. No, I don't wanna fight.
Hey, welcome back. This is Ego and Vice Podcast. This is the Spotlight series. On the Spotlight today, I have an awesome new Ottawa band who just released their new single, Sweet Days. They are called The Escape Society, made up of four cool dudes, Troy Huizinga, Jason Watts, Dean Watson, and of course, last but not least, the mighty Scott Norris. In Southwood Studio today, we have Troy and we have Scott. All right, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Good, man. Yeah.
So this must be a really exciting time for you guys. Like, you just launched your new single, or your first single, I guess, called Sweet Days. Escape Society. It's everywhere on the internet. It's everywhere on my social media. What's going on? I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it.
We are very excited. This is crazy. We've been dreaming about this for like the better part of a year, working on this behind the scenes and you know, putting a video together and talking about, you know, what's it going to look like, what's it going to sound like, how are we going to get it out into the world, and now here we are, and it's you know, it feels big. You know, we've got Live 88.5 playing our single. We've got a killer video, if I may say so. I think it's pretty good. And we've got a fun summer lined up with Hope Volleyball. Going to be our first show. Like, what a killer first show. You know, playing with JJ Wild and the Beaches and the Bluestones, and yeah, it feels great.
Hope is a very exciting event that's kind of close to my heart too. So yeah, when you say what a great gig, it's just a great event all around, and what a great stage, what a great energy. So yeah, I'm sure you guys will be great. Mm-hmm. Scott, how are you doing these days?
Doing great, man. It's honestly been such a blast. Like, obviously I'll echo everything Troy said, but you know, it's so fun to have this new band and sort of be able to, you know, work through, like, not only what's it going to sound like, because that's obviously sort of been clear from day one, but you know, what's it going to look like, what does our social media presence look like, what do our outfits look like, you know, what's the vibe. It's really cool to like be able to explore that, because for the first time it's not a metal band for me, right? So it's like it just feels like there's so many doors that are open, which is just awesome, you know. It's been really cool to just sort of explore that with the guys, and like we've had a lot of fun kind of putting things together in that regard. So we're really excited about that.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, I've always known you as the mighty metal Scott Norris. So I think you've been slowly kind of transitioning into more of the rock and roll guy anyway, haven't you? Little by little.
I don't know, man. I still have my love for metal. That's not going anywhere. But I like to wear many hats. I like to wear lots of hats. I mean, I do that with the cover band with Bytown Lights, and I think it's really important as a musician that you explore every kind of nook and cranny that's been given to you, so that you can sort of just learn different styles, and then you can take things and apply them in new ways to styles of music that maybe haven't seen as much exposure to other things, you know. And I think that's a really important thing in creating a unique sound, you know. If you listen to a lot of these big metal guys, you know, singing like these awesome choruses, and you ask them what their influences are, like, heads straight up, like the heaviest bands be like, yeah, Katy Perry. And like, that's how they make those super sick chorus lines, because at its heart, it's a pop chorus, you know? So it's kind of like the same thing, but it's the opposite this time.
Sweet. I'm sure all your travels have led you to the Escape Society, and what has a big part of what the sound is in that band, I'm sure. Troy, last time you were on the podcast, you actually had touched on the Escape Society, but I don't think you called it the Escape Society. You called it a secret project or something in the works. So now that it's out in the open, can you kind of give us a little bit of background, like a little bit of history of how this all got started?
For sure. I've been daydreaming about it for a long time. Like, for a long time, just thinking about. I've been a part of other projects for a long time where I kind of float in and am a session guy, or I join a group and I'm helping develop material for different things that kind of already exist. I wanted to kind of find my own songwriting voice, create an entity, you know, something with a sound and a vibe and a feel to it that I can bring my favorite people in and have them breathe life into it. So that was the idea. I started chewing on this a few years ago, but was kind of too busy to actually make anything happen. And then I'd say about a year ago, like around this time, Dean and I started chatting. We were kind of being internet trolls together. It's like somebody posted a comment in a music group, and I posted a sarcastic comment, and then he posted one, and then we both got hate mail from this person, and then we started chatting. It's like, do you want to start making music? And what's that going to be? And so I finally pitched these songs, and we started working on that stuff. And trying to figure out, is this a band? Is this going to be a studio project? What's going to happen? And it's like, I don't know, but like, I know that I want Scott playing some guitar on this. I want Jay playing drums. And what I wasn't expecting was for these guys to be like, this is killer. Like, I love these songs. This feels like a band. Let's go. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been go time. It's been amazing watching these songs come together and everybody find their place in them. Especially Scott. I wasn't expecting Scott to be so eager to be like in the band and to vibe with these songs so hard. And it's just been really cool. Like, it's been watching his guitar stuff come together on these pop songs has been quite magical. He's pulled out some crazy stuff. It's a guitar solo record for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Our plan for the next little bit is to drop some more singles. We're going to have more singles come out, and then a full-length record. And I urge the listener to pay very close attention to guitar solos. It's it's quite exciting stuff going on.
I think if I can just add one thing onto that, thank you, Troy. So I think on the point of me being so excited, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to like, we just kind of all got in the studio together, and like this originally was pitched almost as like a solo project for Troy. I think that's like the earliest email I can find about it, right? And he sent a couple demos, and I was like, man, these songs are really cool. But then when we actually sat down and started working on them, it was like all four of us were just immediately like, this is something more special than that, and just like immediately we were able to sort of make that jump to like, no, I think we all thought the same thing. This is going to be, the next like project for us, Yep. It was very natural. It was very, everything just kind of came together, and it just feels super, super right. And, I think that on the point of the guitar solos, Troy is a wonderful producer, incredible songwriter. So, I'll come in with a basic idea for something for a solo, or sometimes nothing at all. Some of these songs had no ideas at all. I just showed up at the studio, and he's like, can you do something like this? And he'll just kind of like sing noises at me, and I'll be like, yeah, you like this,
Mm-hmm.
and things just come out, and it just, the guitar solos worked out so nicely in that regard. And it's like, I still get to scratch the itch of all the technicality that I love about playing guitar. It's all there. It's just sort of in a different light. And that really like sparks the passion for me. So that's all I wanted to add.
Sorry, Troy. Go ahead.
Sorry. My goal for this, Scott mentioned that like we weren't sure if it was a solo project or whatever. From day one, even when I was thinking it would be a solo project, I wanted it to feel and sound like a band. So I brought in a few of my favorite co-writers on some of the songs that will be out later this year. Because, I'm thinking about Abbey Road and records like that. I know Scott, don't say anything about the Beatles. The Beatles are the greatest band that ever lived. And Abbey Road is so great because you've got Lennon, McCartney, and you've got George Harrison. You've got that one Ringo Starr song. And it just makes the fabric stronger on those records. So I was trying to make it feel like a band already. And the songs, the goal was, how do I tick all the boxes? How do I make it poppy and hooky and danceable, but also, the music is, very Scott Norris friendly, where there's very interesting solos and musicianship and moments that can happen on stage. How do I tick off all these boxes? And so that's kind of where the thing started, was with finding this very up tempo, happy, feel good, danceable rock stuff.
Well, individually, you guys are extremely talented musicians, and together, I can just imagine. It must have been easy to find the players, because you guys also play together in Hearts and Minds, so you're already familiar with your little idiosyncrasies, little musical picadillos, when he does that, you're going to do this and that and that. The first time I saw all you guys play together was at Petrie Island, Hearts and Minds. Well, the three of you, Scott, and Jay Watts. And, if you got Jay Watts in the band, you know that everything's going to be okay. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I came up to Matt. Like, I was in Hearts and Minds for a bit, and I remembered what that sounded like. But I went up to Matt at the end of that Hearts and Minds show after I saw all you guys play. And I kind of pulled him aside. And I said, you know how good your band is, right? He's like, well, yeah, I guess. I'm like, no, you know how good your band is, right? And he's like, yeah, because Matt was up there doing his Lulav thing, which I love him to death. But you guys were fucking solid shit. And now you're starting your own thing, so I know it's going to be great. Jay Watts.
Thank you, man.
Speaking of Jay Watts, no, thank you. You guys are putting it out in the world, right? I don't know if he was supposed to, and you can give him shit, but on the way back from Pembroke a couple weeks ago, he may have let me watch the video on his phone. Just don't tell nobody. Yeah.
That's illegal.
It's who you know, right? I hope I didn't get him in trouble. I can delete this off, but I didn't tell anybody. I don't have a copy or anything. He just said, if you want to see it, I'll show you, because we've been friends for 25 years. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's super exciting, super cool idea. How did this whole video come together? Whose idea was it? It's so smart and eye-catching and just bright, and it's really great.
The idea started in the studio, just having fun with the songs, kind of clowning around and imagining, what if we did this, what if we did that, and we have several video concepts for a bunch of the songs. Some of them are probably too grandiose to come to fruition, and that's kind of how this one felt. I was just kind of picturing this thing where people wander off set mid-performance, and there's a glowing food item like an apple, and someone would take a bite out of that apple, and suddenly all the color from that apple, the reds would start entering the world, and sounds great. I'm not a video guy, so I don't know how to do that. And we brought in Ryan Stacy, who is super a video guy, and he did an amazing job of taking our very big, grandiose, broad concept and whittled it down into something simple and manageable and super effective. Like, there was a moment where I think Scott, we were struggling with the colors and how to bring them in, and there's the moment of what if the food item is multicolored? What if it's all the color? Mm-hmm. And that kind of blew things wide open. And next thing you know, Jay's baking cakes. Jay baked that cake. It was the most delicious cake I've ever had. Yeah.
The rainbow kind of layered cake there, or whatever it was, right?
Yeah. The concept started as like, after things were simplified, the concept started as we were like, maybe different candies, like maybe we do like different M&M colors, or like one bowl is M&Ms, then there's like a mix of like cotton candy and Skittles and like whatever, And then I think Jay was like, what if it's just a multicolored cake? And I think he just grabbed a picture off like Google Images, and I was like, okay, that's great, but like, how do we do that? And he's like, I'm a good baker. I know how to do this. Yeah. We were like, okay, man, let her rip,
Yeah, you make like the unicorn poop, right? It's just every color of the rainbow. The beauty of the video, though, is that you build. It's like a mystery. You want to watch it until the end because you want to see all the transformations, right? it's accompanied by an awesome song, which is the best part of it. But just watching a video, how many videos have you seen in your life? You're like, oh, okay, I got the gist of it. You get what's happening, and you have to watch it to the end because you want to see the big reveal, right? So I don't know if that was intended to be that way, but that's how I felt as I was driving home. I was just like, okay, and I couldn't wait to see like how it all kind of, and it exploded with color. It was amazing.
It's interesting that you're saying this. You're the second person to tell me this in the last day. I was getting one of my guitars set up. My old bandmate Marty from my old group High Waters does my guitar setups, and we were sitting chatting, and I had sent him the video, and he watched it and gave me the same feedback. Because after the first transformation, he's like, okay, I see what's happening here, and now I have to watch and see what they all are. I have no idea what that feels like, because we chewed on this idea forever, and we knew what was happening. We know what the transformations look like, and I have no idea what it feels like to see my costume, for example, for the first time when you're not expecting it. And so it's really cool to get this feedback and know that the hooks are there to keep people watching through the video.
It totally is. Like, you can't, like, if you walk away halfway through and be like, man, whatever, you're dead inside. You're dead inside. You know what I mean? Like, you have to wait and see how it turns out. Yeah. So it's brilliant that way. It's a brilliant concept that way. If you didn't plan on that, happy accidents make the world go round, right?
I do want to give Ryan Stacy huge props for pushing this video to where it is. Like, he developed the whole quote unquote Squid Games vibe, where we've got our hands tied behind our back, and there's this creepy talk show host character that is force feeding us the mysterious psychedelic cake. We didn't come up with that. That was all Ryan, and I think it's so fun and surreal and kind of bizarre. And it fits the song better too. It's like we're resisting happiness, Yeah.
and then it just you can, and then it just envelops everything, right?
Yeah.
At the end.
Yes.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And you have to wait and see that. And I think as far as from start to finish, it'll be like a complete watched video for whoever starts it. I guarantee they'll finish it for sure.
Cool.
Scott, yeah, were you going to say something?
Yeah, that's awesome feedback. All I was going to add was, while it may not have been intentional from the start, that I think that's sort of what it's grown into, what we were hoping for. So it's awesome to hear that feedback. And to that point, if you go back and you watch the teaser videos that we dropped, you'll notice that like we never gave away the ending, and that was certainly intentional. There's like Troy and I edited those teaser videos down, sorry. And Troy and I talked for a long time about what we wanted to do, and we were like, yeah, okay, we're not going to give away the ending. We want people to we want to make sure that people kind of get it, and then the end is a nice big sort of surprise. So that was fun, and at least to that point, that was intentional for sure.
Yeah, it worked, man. It definitely worked. I like the in the teasers though. It's that weird little underwater sound. Kind of, you get a little bit of it, then it pulls back a little bit. But you get the cake though. You get Jay's cake. So
yeah,
if the internet blew up right now, at least the cake got on screen, I guess.
Exactly.
There you go. So the song "Sweet Days." I guess it's apropos for the actual sweet cake of the happiness of the video, right? What any stories behind that song?
Yeah, Sweet Days. I wrote that song at the height of pandemic uncertainty for my partner Stacy. They're words I felt she needed to hear at the time. We were just struggling with feeling good about the world and the future, and kind of what everybody was going through at the time when we were locked in and just have our TV screens and we're watching everything kind of fall apart around us, and reading the godforsaken comment sections, and I was just I was feeling it pretty heavy, and came down here and started just writing a song, just a feel good song that I felt she needed to hear. That was just like, we got this. There's got to be some light. We just got to climb this mountain right now, and we got to climb it. We got to climb it hard and start today, because the sooner we get to the top, the sooner we're feeling better. And the song was written in about 20 minutes, and immediately felt good. It felt good. I've gotten some feedback lately that a lot of people relate to it. So perhaps it can vibe with, the nice weather returning, and concerts are back, and I feel an optimism kind of returning to our community, to the world, and so it's for everybody. I wrote it for Stace, but it's for everybody.
On that note, I can think of a no better segue and or time to play Sweet Days here on Ego and Vice Spotlight. This is the Escape Society. We're sitting here with Troy and Scott, and this is the brand new release. It's called Sweet Days. Ego and Vice.
You are a phoenix, rain and fire around my world, like the rings of Saturn, careening down from the zenith, exploding across my sky, in a far-out pattern, a far-out spiral pattern. How did you come to be? You better believe you're coming with me. Come up, come up, come up, we are the lucky ones. Come on if you want to last. Come up, and if you want to taste the sweetest days, pouring in your the sweetest days, pouring in the blood red sugar morning, soaking into the streets, and the blooming cosmos. Now sweet days, brightest in the morning, here to stay. Our sweet days. Come up, come up, come up, we are the lucky ones. Come on if you want to last. Come up, and if you want to taste the sweetest days, pouring in. You shine like the sea, filigree of energy, the sweetest thing I've ever seen. And now you're caught in my eye. Yeah, you're all I can see. And I'll forever thank the weather that brought you to me. And now I'm crying out loud. How did you come to be? You better believe you're coming with me. Come on, we are the lucky ones. Come on if you want to last. Come on, and if you want to taste the sweetest days, pouring in. Come on, we are the lucky ones. Come on if you want to last. Come on, and if you want to taste the sweetest days, pouring in. Sweetest days, pouring in. Sweetest days, pouring in. Sweetest days, pouring in. Here we go.
So, hey, we're back. This is Ego and Vice Spotlight. We're sitting here with Scott and Troy from the Escape Society, and that was the new single, Sweet Days. I feel that we would be remiss if we didn't give some time to the two guys that can't be here today, Dean Watson and Jay Watts. Let's start with Dean and all his contributions, because I know with Sweet Days Escape Society, you record at Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Which is Dean's recording studio. Let's talk about Dean for a bit. He's not
the Buckingham Palace.
The Buckingham Palace.
Dean owns and runs Buckingham Palace Audio out of Buckingham, Quebec. It would be a missed opportunity to not call it Buckingham Palace Audio. So he records all our stuff and makes us sound great, if I may say so. Dean on that track is playing bass and backing vocals, along with myself, and my girlfriend Stacy is singing in there as well in the choir.
That's cool. How long is I can't remember. I may have asked in the past. How long has the Buckingham Palace been around?
A few years now. Originally, it was the Gallery.
Okay.
Gallery Sound was his studio. He was based out of the Glebe and a few other places in town. And a couple of years ago, moved out to Buckingham. I think 2019 or early 2020.
I actually reached out to Dean, I don't know, maybe last year, I think, to be on the podcast, and we had something tentatively set up, but then I didn't hear back from him, and it wasn't confirmed, or maybe it was confirmed. I don't know. There was some weird miscommunication, but I'll try again sometime. He sounds like a busy guy, though.
He is. He's very busy.
Yeah.
Which is good, and he's a lot of fun to work with. He is like the most fun. You've probably been following our socials, and you've seen a lot of the shenanigans in the studio. It's a lot of fun. We get a lot of work done, but we have fun doing it, and it's a cool house. Like, it's his house, and it's overlooking the river. It's got a beautiful view. You walk in there, you feel inspired immediately. The house is all painted, like the walls and the ceiling are like the sky with clouds, and you've got like these pastoral scenery, like murals downstairs, and it's I don't know, it's vibey in there.
I was gonna say, sounds like a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Painted skies. It's like you're outside inside.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I like it.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, I love working with Dean. Like, as we've mentioned, like myself, Jay, and Troy were all friends. Like, beforehand, Dean is the guy that I didn't know. Jay and Troy were friends with him before, but I had never met Dean before. And, I showed up, this big degenerate metal guitarist with a stupid sense of humor, just loud and obnoxious.
You are that.
He vibed with it. He vibed with it right away, and like it's like I've known him forever. It's super fun to hang out with him, and he's really good at bringing out the best of people when you're in his studio, and that's a really good skill to have as a producer, So definitely I value that a lot, and I love working with him.
Awesome. A lot of people might not know certain members of your band, so even though Jay's been on the podcast before, do we want to give Jay Watts a little bit of love on the Escape Society episode?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. Jay's fantastic. I love Jay Watts. I should mention too, like the origins of this band go back like 2017. I started working at a local music school in Orleans called School of Rock. That's where I met Scott. That's where I met Jay. That's where I met Mike, who is the creepy cake host in our video. Mike introduced me to Dean. He brought me to do a session. I played bass on Dean's other project, which is a great band called Everything is Angles. And so it all kind of stemmed from us working together and teaching together and liking working with each other. And Jay is probably the first teacher I met there. I was doing the scheduling on Saturday mornings, and Jay would come in. He'd be the first teacher there to teach drum lessons on Saturday mornings. He'd come in with his coffee and his breakfast sandwich, sit down, and was immediately interested in the new guy and asking me, what's your deal? Who are you? what interests you musically? What are you about? And he was curious to get in there and talk music. And we started talking music right away. And I could tell instantly that he was good at what he does, just by the way he talked about music, just by the amount of care he put into his lessons when the kids would come in. And then I heard him play, obviously, and I was like, oh, damn, he's really good. And I remember asking him in the lobby back then, what's your rate? If you wanted to play if you play drums on somebody's stuff, because I already had him in mind for stuff, it's been we shortly after that started playing in different projects, and it's been an amazing time playing in bands, but also a really really great friendship. And I can say that for every member of this band, as I feel really close to the guys, and it feels like family. It really does.
That's nice. That's very nice. Scott?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I pretty much feel the same way. I started working at School of Rock 2014, I believe. I was the fourth teacher hired there. Jay was one of the original three. And I've worked with Jay pretty much since day one. I mean, if I think back to it, like we started talking about doing a cover project like shortly, probably 2015. My dates are probably all messed up here, but it didn't take very long to kind of get things going and decide we wanted to work together, And pretty much ever since then, Jay's sort of been a rock both on stage and off, because like he's just been a part of my life. As soon as I started working at School of Rock, it was like Troy said, it's that instant friendship. And, he's just so consistent at everything he does. And it's such a good foundation to lay in every aspect of what we do together. And it's wonderful, Can't say enough good things, but Troy said most of them already. So
yeah, I can't say enough good things about everybody in this band. Like,
For sure.
Personality wise, like working with people, like everybody's really, really good and efficient and positive, and really just the creativity flows because everybody's really, really good at working together. The professionalism is there. The sense of humor is there. Right? Like Scott just walks into a situation, doesn't know Dean, right? And just starts cracking jokes because that's the kind of person he is. And it's just, I don't know, the vibe is there. I felt that way with Dean too when I went in to do that session, and everybody else in the band left. They like all had places to go, and like Dean and I just kind of like looked at each other. He's like, are we gonna stay and like hang out?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just met you, but it feels right. It feels so right. Yeah. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. And chemistry like that is like you can get to all the best players in the world together, but if they don't get along, it's kind of a shitty experience, right? It's all about the chemistry and the family, as you called it. I've known Jay over 20 years, and he's like, I'm 8 years older than him, but he's like my big brother. Like he's always looking out for everybody. He's a class act.
Yeah.
It's just like when you hear people say stuff about like good people, he's like one of them. He's just a good dude.
Yeah, that's what Scott's like too. It's like he's got your back like before you even know you need your back gotten.
Yeah.
We've played in different bands, like I've filled in different groups and things, and there's a wedding band that we were playing in, and I was like running super late, like in a panic to get to the venue, and like just driving like a bat out of hell from one end of town to the other to get there. And I get there and like my stuff is like, it's unpacked, it's set up, like my book is to the right page and everything is like patched in, and friggin' Scott Norris to the rescue. Yeah.
Well, he said he was an assistant, so I guess he's good at like organization. Anyway, so
I know we're messing around, but like to be honest, I've always seen every band that I've ever been in. The most important thing is that you're a team, right? And I mean that goes for most things where you're working in groups, but like a band especially, because you never know, right? Things come up. Jay really wanted to be here on the podcast today. He's got to look after his kid. no problem. We got your back. It shouldn't be that shouldn't be a point of stress for anyone.
No.
That wedding band situation that Troy mentioned, like he was texting me, he's like, dude, I'm late. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, don't worry. I have all your gear here. I'm just going to set it. I have nothing else to do. I'm just going to set it all up for you. I'm going to sound check for you. You come in, sit down and play,
Yep.
For me, I don't see any reason to not do that. Right. You're a team, and one person's success is everyone's success, right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of a corny line, but like it's true, right?
No, it's well said. Well said. Absolutely. So now that the new single is out, the video is dropped. You said that you're going to release some singles over time. What's the big picture for the Escape Society? Are you going to play some shows? Are you going to go on tour? What's going on?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to drop some more singles later this year. We're going to follow it up with the full-length record, and we're going to play some shows this year, which we will be announcing soon, and then follow it up with the tour. Yeah, we're going to do the whole thing. We're putting together a live show as we speak, gearing up for Hope, and yeah, stay tuned. We've got stuff in the pipeline.
Amazing. So, what are some of the bands that inspired you, that helped out in the end with the Escape Society's overall kind of where they fit in the world?
When I started writing in this style, it was 2017. So like fall of 2017. I had just been through a rough go, and a friend of mine recommended that I write a song a day for a month, and as a therapeutic exercise. He had a friend who did the same, and we listened to the results together, and I was blown away that he did that. The results were so good, for such a time pressure exercise. So I tried it. The first week was horrible, and then I started getting some cool stuff, and I started thinking about writing quickly, and discovered a band called Guided by Voices, where it's the Robert Pollard is one of the most prolific writers of all time. It doesn't even seem to care to do editing, just kind of lets it all just kind of flow and puts it all out.
Right.
That's kind of where my head was at. And then a friend brought me to the Bronson Center to see Death from Above. I'm not a huge Death from Above fan, but I like live music, and I went, and the opener came out and wasn't very good. And then there was a second opener, and I was kind of starting to maybe dread the evening a little bit. Or it's what did I do? Is it going to be 3 sets of music that I'm not fully loving? And then a band called The Beaches came out and just blew my face off. They did everything right, everything that a band should do. They came out with authority, and just took charge of the room, played just killer songs. The vibe on stage was electric, and I found myself after the show seeking them out in the front room to talk to them. I wanted to kind of get a piece of who are you? I bought their record. I went out to dinner immediately after, and they came into the restaurant, and then I found myself at their table, talking to them more. I followed their socials, and I said to myself, that's what every band wants a fan to do after their show.
Yeah.
They worked the magic on me. And so I just found myself kind of going over that performance and just thinking about what they did. And there was a little motivating voice there that said, I can do that. I want to do that. That's friggin' awesome. And I can do that. And so that kind of steered my writing into an area where I was looking for up-tempo rock music that was hooky, that's memorable. I discovered the genre power pop, and it kind of put me on a path. And so that's kind of where these songs are coming from. And I find it very, very poetic that our first show is going to be opening for The Beaches at Hope. That feels really, really nice. I messaged them. I sent them a message when I started writing these songs, and I was totally fangirling out and being you guys inspire me to write a record. I'm gonna show it to you when it's ready. And they were nice and like messaged me back, and they're like, cool, that's amazing. This is before they blew up and won all kinds of Junos. Like
Right.
it was totally magical watching them just explode. Like it was like not even a year later, they're like the hottest band in Canada.
I caught the Beaches at the Blues Fest last year. I actually went by myself on the last night to see the National. And I ended up going around the stage to the I don't know what the stages are called, and they were just starting. And she came out on stage doing her kind of swirly dance thing with the silhouette and the shadow and the lights. And I watched the whole show. I didn't even go back to the National.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, they have the stuff. Like they're so friggin' cool. Just all the coordination on stage. It's like it's this amazing balance of like a coordinated look with chaos. Like they just completely throw down.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, on that note, the universe is funny, and then you're opening for them. That's awesome. But on that note, why don't we play a Beaches song? Your choice. We don't really have permission to do that, but I always say the worst thing that could happen and the best thing that could happen is I could get like sued by a big band, I guess, but I don't think they'll ever hear it. Maybe
Well,
they will.
If there's a problem, I'll apologize to them for you at Hope.
I appreciate that.
I recommend the song Fascination.
Fascination.
I think it's just a beautifully written song. The lyrics are great. The music is super interesting. It's a banger.
All right.
Fascination.
By request from the Escape Society, this is Fascination by Canada's own The Beaches. We'll be right back. This is Ego and Vice.
I took the metro to the station where I met you. Hope to accidentally run into you again. And all those people in those crowded spaces with their sleepy, empty faces. I felt like an alien. I saw you standing like a statue in the corner, and you were all alone, built like a Michelangelo. We hopped onto the train without a ticket, headed somewhere. Didn't matter if we had no other place
Hey, we're back. That was The Beaches, Fascination, by request from the Escape Society. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Scott, Troy, any final words for the masses?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, really, just thank you. I mean, everybody who's listening, who's sharing the song, doing reactions. People like you, Mike, who are asking us to come on their podcasts and their radio shows. Like, this is awesome. This is, for a launch of a band, this is more than we could have ever hoped and dreamed for. Of course, big thank you to Live 88.5 for premiering the song on June 2nd. That was a dream come true for all of us. Big thank you to Ryan Stacy again for helping get the video going. Of course, the Dean, even though he's in the band, for helping, bring the song to life. It's still, it's extra things outside of just playing in the band, and definitely deserves the praise for it, So yeah, really just thank you to everyone who's just helping push this thing forward and keeping the machine running. And, we're so excited for what the future holds.
Right on.
Yeah. I'll give a thank you to my girlfriend Stacy for keeping us organized and for helping us with the website. We also had a group of people come out and help us make the video. So big thanks to everybody in attendance and the KM Theater and Carleton University for making that happen.
Right on. Well, it's a very exciting time for you guys, and because we're friends, I'm very excited for you. And I really look forward to watching this thing grow and explode with color.
So much color, man. And Rainbow Explosion is the name of the game.
With Rainbow Explosion. Good luck with everything. I can't wait for Hope. I can't wait to see you guys play, and I'll be in the front row. I'm going to be there playing volleyball.
Yes.
I built
awesome.
I built a volleyball team. We're going to get pummeled, but I'll bring them all over to watch the show.
Oh, sweet. Thank you very much.
Sounds good, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for your time. And again, good luck with everything. All the best. If you want to be on the podcast, you can drop me a line at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can go to Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. These are all those streaming sites. I want to thank the Escape Society for taking the time to be on Ego and Vice Spotlight. It's been great to be back. Anyway, that's it for me. Stay tuned. I will see you next time. Take care.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Wanna